everybody. Welcome to the Painting Center. I just want to take a minute and have you notice how beautifully organized this is so that you can set up and you can clean up on your own. Right here we have bottles of tempera paint. We have paintbrushes that are clean and organized. And in here we have all the supplies that you are going to need. These are palettes made of cardboard, and I'll explain more about that in a minute. We also have some paint paper down here so that when you're experimenting at the paint center before you're ready to do your final project or your WOW project, you have paper that is good for painting on. We've got lots and lots of paper towels right here. Let's see, we've got liquid tempera paint right here, which is super fun to use. We have watercolor pencils. If you have never tried watercolor pencils, I do suggest experimenting with those a bit. What else here? We've got, these are watercolor trays. We don't use these trays when we're painting with tempera paint. We only use these with liquid watercolor. And again, I'll show you more about that in a little bit. The last thing I'm going to show you is where the water cups are, because kids ask that all the time. They are all right here. So when you are painting, you're going to need to fill these up about 3/4 of the way full.
Stop this video, walk over to the painting center, and have a look inside the bins to see what is there. When you're ready, press play again. Are all the things that you are going to need to set up at the painting center. Paint paper, 2 brushes, a water cup, 1 paper towel, and 1 palette. Boys and girls, if you're going to use liquid watercolor, this is how you set it up. Please make sure that you're only choosing 3 colors at a time. If you're choosing to use liquid tempera, this is what it should look like. Take a look at how much paint I have there on my cardboard palette. It's only, the little blob is only as big as my thumbnail. And again, only 3 colors at a time. Okay, so now it's time to set up. Please go ahead and stop this video and set up for either liquid watercolor or liquid tempera. Before you begin, please go ahead and raise your hand so that I can come and check to make sure that your setup is correct before you begin. If you would like some ideas for techniques to use in both liquid watercolor and tempera, just go ahead and finish watching this video. I did put it into fast motion. If you want to just dive in on your own, go ahead and stop and set up right now. Okay, and here I'm playing around with liquid tempera. Notice that I'm just getting paint on the very, very tip of my brush. I can blend it together a little bit. Look at that nice kind of tint of orange, which is white and orange mixed together. I'm going to wash my brush a little bit, add some yellow, blend that together a little bit. Just playing with different gradations of the color here. Notice how carefully I'm mixing colors on my palette. I'm not digging my paintbrush in really hard. I'm just blending and washing my brush and mixing and blending some more. It's all about experimentation at this stage. Now this is called scumbling, so I'm just kind of going in circles and seeing what happens with the paint. And this is a really fun technique to use as well. And then here's some dabbing at the end. I encourage you to have fun and see what else you can learn about tempera paint. Okay, now it is cleanup time. We need to take our artwork to the drying rack, brushes to the bucket in the sink. The water cups need to be rinsed and returned. If you have a watercolor palette, it needs to be rinsed and returned. And if you have a cardboard palette, you can put it on the very bottom of the drying rack. So my cardboard palette goes on the bottom of the drying rack. My paintbrush goes in the bucket in the sink. And my watercolor palette and my water cup are rinsed off. I rinsed them off in the sink, and I'm going to put them exactly back where I found them. And the last thing I do is take my paper towel, get a tiny bit of water on it, and clean off the table so it looks nice and clean for the next person.